1966 Cu Chi Base Camp, South Vietnam. 30 kilometers northwest of Saigon. Thousands of American soldiers, helicopters, artillery, watchtowers, and floodlights on a reinforced perimeter. By every military measure, impenetrable. And every single night, soldiers inside it are dying. Same pattern every time. Darkness falls. Somewhere inside the perimeter, an explosion, gunfire, chaos. By the time soldiers respond, it's over. No retreating enemy, no trails. No explanation. Commanders sweep the jungle for months. Find nothing. No camps, no supply lines. It's like fighting ghosts. Then one patrol finds a hole. Small, hidden under leaves, just outside the perimeter wire. An engineer gets on his hands and knees and shines a light inside. The tunnel goes down, turns, disappears into darkness. He stands up. "Sir, I think we found the problem." What nobody knows yet is that beneath this base, beneath the barracks, beneath the mess hall, beneath the command center, there are 250 kilometers of tunnels. Over the next 9 years, those tunnels will kill more Americans than any single battle in Vietnam. So how does an army with no heavy equipment, no machinery, no resources build an underground city directly under the most powerful military force on Earth without anyone noticing? That's exactly what we're going to find out. The Cu Chi tunnels didn't start as a military operation. They started as a way to survive French bombs in the 1940s. By the time the Americans arrived, they had been growing for 20 years. The soil made it possible. Red laterite clay, hard as concrete when dry, doesn't collapse under pressure, doesn't flood easily, doesn't crumble when bombs hit nearby. The Vietnamese didn't choose this location by accident. They chose it because the ground itself was a building material. The tools, short-handled hoes, wicker baskets, human hands, nothing else. Workers dug at night to avoid patrols, carried the soil away in baskets, and scattered it across fields so aerial reconnaissance wouldn't spot fresh dirt piles. Every entrance was hidden. Trapdoors under leaves, grass, termite mounds. Some submerged in ponds you had to dive underwater to find them. The openings were deliberately tiny. 60 centimeters wide. Just large enough for a small Vietnamese fighter to squeeze through. Large enough to guarantee that no American soldier in combat gear could easily follow. When American forces arrived in the early 1960s, the basic network already existed. But the Viet Cong understood immediately what they were dealing with. The most powerful military in history. Overwhelming firepower, complete air superiority. Fighting above ground was suicide. So they went below it. They expanded aggressively. 3 levels. First level. 3 meters down, shallow enough for fast access, deep enough to survive standard artillery. Second level, 6 meters safer during heavier bombardment. Third level, 9 meters designed to survive direct hits from the largest conventional bombs in the American arsenal. Each level connected by vertical shafts with sealed trap doors between them. If Americans flooded the top level, the Viet Cong dropped to the second. If they gassed the second, they dropped to the third. The system had an answer for everything. The tunnels aren't just escape routes, they're a city. Hospitals where surgeons work by candlelight performing procedures on wounded fighters, operating tables made from boards, instruments sterilized with captured medical supplies. Kitchens with ventilation systems so precisely engineered that smoke travels horizontally through hundreds of meters of side tunnels before emerging from the ground, far from any entrance, making it impossible to locate from above. Weapons factories where captured American ammunition is broken down and recycled into new weapons. Printing presses running propaganda. Wells providing fresh water from the water table below. Sleeping quarters where thousands of people live for months without seeing daylight. At its peak, up to 10,000 people living underground at Cu Chi simultaneously. Born there, married there, died there. An entire society operating 9 meters below the boots of the soldiers looking for them. And those soldiers had absolutely no idea. If you're finding this as disorienting as I did, subscribe. We cover the stories that turn the picture upside down. New file every week. Back to the story. The US Army tried everything to destroy the Cu Chi tunnels. Bombs, gas, fire, water, dogs, nothing worked. And every failed attempt taught the Viet Cong exactly how to survive the next one. First attempt, bombing. Operation Rolling Thunder, B-52S, dropping thousands of tons of explosives across the Cu Chi district. The surface became unrecognizable. Trees gone, craters everywhere. The Americans looked at the aerial photos and saw total destruction. What they couldn't see was 9 meters below. The third level was untouched. The Viet Cong moved deeper during the raids, waited for the bombing to stop, and came back up. The craters left behind collected rainwater and provided cover. The bombing that was supposed to destroy the tunnels accidentally improved the landscape around them. Second attempt. Agent Orange. Chemical defoliants stripped every leaf from every tree across entire regions. Entire forests died within days, and the tunnels underneath, completely unaffected. You can kill every tree above a tunnel. The tunnel doesn't care. Third attempt. Flooding. Engineers pumped water into tunnel entrances. The drainage system lateral channels dug specifically for this redirected most of it. The sections that did flood were sealed off with trapdoors. The rest kept operating. Fourth attempt. CS gas. Pumped through compressors into every entrance they could find. The gas is denser than air. It should fill the lower levels and kill everything inside. The Viet Cong sealed the trapdoors between levels with wet cloth. The gas dispersed before reaching lethal concentration in wider sections. The people in the lower levels breathed normally. Fifth attempt. Trained dogs. German shepherds brought in specifically to find hidden entrances by scent. The Viet Cong had obtained American soap and used it to clean the area around entrances, masking Vietnamese scent. The dogs found some. New entrances were dug. The ones they found were abandoned. The Army's final response. People. Volunteers. Selected specifically for small physical size under 5'7", narrow shoulders, under 150 pounds. Standard American combat gear doesn't fit inside the tunnels. So they go in stripped down, no helmet, no body armor, no rifle, a Colt 1911 pistol with one spare magazine, a flashlight, sometimes a knife. That's the entire might of the United States military reduced to a handgun and a battery-powered light. They call themselves tunnel rats. Nobody assigns them the name. It just fits. The entrance is 60 centimeters wide. You go in head first, arms forward, and pull yourself through with your elbows. The smell hits immediately damp earth, something chemical, something organic underneath. The walls are red laterite clay, smooth and hard. The ceiling is 40 centimeters above your head when you can crouch. Less when you can't. The rules they develop themselves, because nobody above them has any idea what they're facing. Move slowly. Every centimeter of floor could be a pressure plate. Every wall could have a wire stretched across it at throat height in the dark. Use the flashlight as little as possible. Light travels far in a tunnel, and if you can see, you can be seen. Learn to move in complete darkness. Learn to feel the walls with your palms. Learn to hear breathing that isn't yours. First level, 3 meters down. The chamber is 4 feet wide and 5 feet tall, designed for Vietnamese fighters averaging 5'3". You can crouch. Most Americans cannot stand. Low wooden crates along the walls. Ammunition, medical supplies, rice. Storage near the entrance for fast resupply or retreat during contact. You listen. Silence. You push forward. The tunnel slopes downward. Second level, 6 meters. The air is different down here, thicker but strangely controlled, the way hospital air is controlled, because that's what this is. A bed against the wall, blood-stained bandages, glass jars on a dirt shelf. A bicycle-powered generator, the only source of electricity, pedaled by someone to provide light during surgery and charge the radio equipment. In the more developed tunnel systems, the ones that have been running for years, this is standard. The surgeons work by whatever light this provides. Not every room is a hospital. Some are built for one purpose: to make soldiers afraid of the floor, the walls, everything. Punji stakes, sharpened bamboo coated in feces, buried in shallow pits covered with thin dirt. You put your hand down to crawl forward and it goes through the covering. The stakes go through your palm. The infection that follows is often worse than the wound. Some pits have stakes pointing upward from the floor and downward from a false ceiling. You crawl into the space between them without realizing until you try to move forward or back. Bamboo vipers sealed in clay pots rigged to door frames. Open the door and the pot falls. The paper tears. The snake lands on you in complete darkness. Soldiers learn to open every door from the side with a knife extended first. Feel for wires. Feel for pots. Feel for anything that shouldn't be there. Scorpion boxes on threads too thin to see without light. Walk through the thread and the box falls open above your head. And beyond the traps, there are people. Viet Cong soldiers who know these tunnels better than they know their own villages, who have lived in them for years, who can navigate in complete darkness at a speed that seems impossible. Tunnel rats report hearing movement ahead, stopping, waiting in silence for minutes, then feeling displaced air as someone passes within arm's reach in the dark without making a sound. Firefights at distances of 2 to 3 meters in near complete darkness against an opponent who has been living underground for longer than you have been in Vietnam. The psychological toll is unlike anything else in the war. Above ground, soldiers deal with fear, exhaustion, loss. Below ground, they deal with something older. The fear of enclosed spaces. The fear of darkness. The fear of not knowing what is 6 inches in front of your face. Most tunnel rats serve multiple tours underground. Most come back changed in ways they can't explain to people who haven't been down there. The nightmares aren't about the firefights. They're about the silence. Here's the final score. 9 years. Billions of dollars. The most advanced military technology ever assembled against peasants with short-handled hoes. By 1975, when the last American forces left Vietnam, the Chu Chi tunnel system was still operational, still intact, still functioning exactly as designed. The bombs hadn't destroyed it. The gas hadn't cleared it. The water hadn't flooded it. The dogs hadn't found it. The tunnel rats hadn't broken it. 250 kilometers of hand-dug tunnels had outlasted the full military and technological might of the United States of America. The human cost was total on both sides. The 25th Infantry Division stationed at Chu Chi suffered some of the highest casualty rates of any American unit in Vietnam. Thousands killed or wounded by an enemy they never saw, coming from a direction they never expected, disappearing back into the ground before anyone could respond. The Viet Cong losses were catastrophic too. Tens of thousands of people who lived and fought in the Chu Chi system died there from bombs that penetrated deep enough, gas that worked well enough, tunnel rats who found them in the dark. The United States had every technological advantage imaginable: air power, firepower, equipment, resources. The Viet Cong had dirt, short-handled hose, and nowhere else to go. When you have nowhere else to go, you go underground. You dig. You survive. You wait. The Chu Chi tunnels are still there, all 250 kilometers of them, dug by hand. They outlasted everything. Today they are a tourist site. The original entrances, 60 centimeters wide, are preserved in the historical section at their original dimensions. No adult Western tourist can fit through them. The entrance that defeated 500,000 soldiers is still too small for the people who came to look at it. If this changed how you think about what a military advantage actually is, share it with someone who still thinks the side with more firepower always wins. Subscribe for the next file. It drops next week.